I'm Matthew Roberts, and I'm Maynard Nexsen's Healthcare and Life Sciences Practice Group Leader. In today's dynamic healthcare industry, providers are pressed to constantly adapt and innovate at an unprecedented rate. In such an environment, collaboration between healthcare systems and life sciences companies could give healthcare providers a competitive advantage in the market, while also providing life sciences companies with a new opportunity to test their products and technologies and to create market demand. The COVID-19 pandemic is a recent evidence of the benefits of collaboration between healthcare systems and the life sciences industry. This crisis enabled these parties to jointly expedite medical research and combine technological and financial resources to quickly produce and distribute an effective vaccine and to improve therapeutic treatments for COVID-19. This collaborative approach, however, can also be beneficial beyond the context of a global pandemic. Collaboration between healthcare systems and life sciences companies could enable both entities to combine extensive research and independent industry expertise and financial resources together in pursuit of medical improvements and innovation. While there are many potential benefits to collaboration, healthcare systems and life sciences companies need to consider a variety of very important regulatory and legal issues before they begin a collaboration. Several key issues to consider when evaluating a potential collaboration include the following. 1. Intellectual property. In the creation of new technology, devices, drugs, or methods, it is imperative to document control and ownership of intellectual property, as well as outline duties of confidentiality and trade secrets to preserve rights for future IP filings. 2. Who owns and controls the clinical data? It is critical to clearly define how clinical data will be obtained and maintained and who owns it before collaboration begins. Additionally, third-party processors must be identified and examined to identify a clear understanding of how the data will be managed. Parties will also need to obtain applicable patient consents and authorizations about how the data will be used and be sure any HIPAA regulations are being followed. 3. Federal regulatory issues. There is a well-established system of federal statutes and regulations that apply to healthcare providers and potentially to life sciences companies, which must be complied with when you enter these type of collaborations. These include the Stark and Anti-Kickback statutes, the Eliminating Kickbacks on Recovery Act, the Federal False Claims Act, Sunshine and Open Payment laws, and the U.S. FDA laws, including the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. The fourth key issue has to do with clinical research rules. If the collaboration includes clinical research, the parties should ensure that the research protocols comply with FDA requirements, including approval by the appropriate institutional review board. And if the program requires the use of health system services, people, or space, the parties should develop written agreements that are compliant with any applicable federal regulatory laws like the AKS or the Stark Law. 5. Due diligence and documentation of the business deal. When health systems and life sciences companies collaborate on a matter, due diligence between the parties is critical to ensure the collaboration works from the business perspective. The parties should execute a term sheet or letter of intent and transaction documents that memorialize the nature and scope of the agreement. Collaboration between healthcare systems and life sciences companies presents intriguing opportunities and can provide a range of benefits to both parties, but there are a diverse set of key issues that parties must be aware of before entering into such agreements. It is critical that the involved parties consider the different legal and regulatory obstacles a collaborative effort will face and take the proper steps to ensure that each is adequately protected and in compliance with the applicable laws. If done properly, the parties can capitalize on the immense potential that collaboration between life sciences and healthcare systems can generate. At Maynard Nexsen, we represent life sciences companies and healthcare providers and can advise you on any of the issues we've discussed that are implicated by these collaborations. If you have any questions, please give us a call.